Swiggy has been ordered to pay Rs 5,000 fine for failing to deliver an ice cream of Rs 187 to a customer. The incident, which happened back in January 2023, came to the fore on Monday after a consumer court in Bangalore penalized the food delivery platform for deficiency of service and unfair trade practice. A customer had ordered a nutty death by chocolate ice cream for Swiggy. The order was picked by the delivery agent but was never really delivered to the complainant. On the contrary, the app showed the order as delivered. Despite reaching out to the customer care, the amount was not refunded. Left with no choice, she approached the Bangalore Consumer Court. The court held that not refunding the customer's money, despite the order being not delivered, is deficiency of service and unfair trade practice. The court has directed Swiggy to pay the customer a refund of Rs 187 along with Rs 3,000 as compensation and Rs 2,000 as litigation costs. This is not the first instance in India wherein corporations have been held liable for lack of efficiency in services. Recently, in March 2024, Uber was penalized for overcharging a customer. In the same month, Amazon was held liable for delay in processing the refund amount by 1.5 years. Last year in October, Zomato and McDonald's were fined for giving non-veg food to a vegetarian consumer. And all this after due legal process was followed by the affected consumers. So, what is the process of consumer redressal all about? Let's find out. A consumer court deals with cases regarding consumer complaints and grievances and protects their rights. The unsatisfied consumers can file a case in consumer court against the seller on the grounds of harassment or deliverance of flawed goods or services. A consumer court is established under the Consumer Protection Act 1986 to redress and adjudicate consumer disputes in India. These courts are established at 3 levels: district, state and national levels, and each court has a maximum monetary valuation fixed by law. But who is a consumer exactly? The person who has purchased goods or availed some services in exchange for some value. That is, she has paid money. The person must have brought the goods for personal use and not for resale or commercial purposes. Now, what are the grounds for filing a complaint? Number 1. Adoption of unfair trade practices by a service provider. Defective goods already bought or agreed to be bought by the complainant. Number 3. Deficiency in services, whether hired or availed or agreed to be hired or availed. Overcharging of goods or services in excess of the price that may have been fixed by law or displayed on the packaging of the goods. 5th, selling or offering to sell hazardous goods or services which pose a threat to life and safety. So, what is the procedure to file a complaint in the consumer court? The first step is to intimate the service provider of the complainant's decision to take the legal course. If the service provider doesn't respond, the complainant can then go ahead and draft a complaint. Along with this complaint, all the material evidences have to be recorded, which should include the bills, warranty, guarantee, the packaging of the product, the delivery slip, etc. Note that you don't generally need a lawyer to file the complaint in this forum. Once the complaint has been drafted, a court fees is required and voila, your complaint is registered. Now, what are the reliefs that can be granted under the Consumer Protection Act? Refund of the price paid by the consumer while purchasing the product and additional compensation for the damages suffered. Removal of defects, that is, if the consumer forum concludes after conducting proper tests that there exist material defects, it may pass an order to cure or remove those defects. Replacement of goods by the service provider. Compensation may be awarded to the complainant if it has been proved that physical, mental or any other loss or damage was suffered owing to the usage of the goods or availing of the services. Imposing a ban on the sale of hazardous goods. An order for removal of deficiency in service. An order for discontinuance of unfair or restrictive trade practice in cases where the cause of action was such a practice. The authority is empowered to impose a complete or conditional ban on the trade. Payment of the adequate cost or the cost of litigation if claimed by the complainant. It is pertinent to mention here that the maximum time period to file a complaint under this forum is 2 years since the day the cause of action arises or the day the incident has occurred. Consumer rights are an important safeguard for people in this age of consumerism, and it is important that every consumer knows his or her rights so that they could claim compensation if faulty practices are detected. That's it for this segment. See you in the next one. Till then, keep watching OTV News English.